How you doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Isaac Hayes Show, talking about life, talking about liberty, and yes, talking about the pursuit of happiness and showing you, the audience in the world, that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you're located. Just remember that this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. 4 days. 4 days if you're looking on Rumble and YouTube and whatever you're watching. 4 days until Election Day. I gotta get dramatic. Election Day. We have been talking about this day for almost the last 2 years. Not me. I've been talking about it since the last inauguration of a president of the United States, which was Joe Biden. That's a tough pill to swallow. But yes, we've been talking about this election for a very, very long time. I guess you could say maybe after the midterms of 2022, where there was supposed to be a big red wave, and there wasn't. It was a red trickle. We barely got out with a drizzle. But that's why I don't talk about red waves no more. I've learned a lot in the last 4 years. In 2020, I've learned not to be lax and confident until I see the results. Because look, I'm going to be honest with you, and we're talking about a lot of things on this episode today, but I'm one right now to where I'm not worried about the polls. I watch them, and it gives me a good indication of what's going to happen, and we're going to talk about polls and perspectives from the media in a little bit. But I'm confident. I'm hoping that Trump gets into the White House and he's named president-elect on November 6th, hopefully. But in reality, if it doesn't happen, I know either way, whoever wins, I know Jesus Christ is king. He's coming back for me, and I love him with all my heart, and I'm all right. I heard my good friend Mike Caldery say on their last episode of Two Mics Live, which was really One Mic Live, because he was the only one there. But, you know, for copyright sakes, I have to say Two Mics Live. But Mike Caldery said he's going to wake up that on November 6th. He's going to go to work, and he's going to do what he needs to do. You know, I'm planning on taking off that day. If something else changes, I will let you know. Because I'm hoping I can do a live episode. If not, if I can't, it's going to be a long night. I probably won't pre-record. I won't have time to pre-record anything to premiere like right now. But we'll see what happens. But I know on November 6th, I'm going to wake up. I'm either going to go to work or I'm going to sleep in a little while, then come here to the studio and talk to you, my lovely audience. And I'm going to live for Jesus. I'm not going to do like I did last time in 2020. That's the first thing I learned. Don't get overconfident. Wait until the results, and don't be disappointed. Second thing I learned, is don't put your trust in men, because they're going to fail you. And don't believe all the rhetoric. This is probably the third thing, not the rhetoric, but all the hype. Oh, red wave, red wave, red wave. Stop. I'm not worried about a red wave. And I'm not saying it because I hear Dan Bongino. No. I learned that from experience, because all I heard was red wave. And you can go back in 2022 when I was the Cajun conservative, and which I still am the Cajun conservative. But anyway, when I had the Cajun conservative show, I made them points. I said, this red wave, it disappointed us. I think we learned a lot in 2022 and a lot in 2020 to where we're at this point right now. And I think we need to go ahead and stay focused. We need to go ahead and make sure that we're still plowing through, because, look, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it all over the place right now. Oh, well, Donald, the Republicans went ahead and early vote. Woo-hoo. Yeah, but that's only 30% of the registered voters, I believe. On November 5th, the people that have not early voted, you need to go vote on November 5th. I understand there's some of you might be voting Democrat. Hey, I would wish you come to our side of reasoning. But Republicans, we need to go vote. If we go vote, I believe Donald Trump wins this election. Because the numbers, the way I'm seeing it, is looking very good for Donald Trump. But we should not be overconfident. We need to keep plowing forward. We need to keep plowing forward, ladies and gentlemen. Again, though, thank you for watching. If this is your first time, consider hitting that green follow button on Rumble and that red button that says subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on Facebook, like the page. It helps me out more than you know. We've been getting a good response. Not the best, but a good response. This is why I need you as well after you hit that green button or that red button or that blue button, because there's so many buttons we can press. I need you to go ahead and tell your friends and share it. Look, share it through a text message. Share it through an email. Man, put in a group page message. I'm like on 5 of them. And then I even political. I can just hit the copy link and go. But go ahead and do that for me. I would appreciate it. All right. At the end of this video, well, we're going to have another interview. So I say at the end, like towards the end, I will have my good friend, Senator Elbert Guillory, former Senator Elbert Guillory, who is running for the 6th Congressional District of Louisiana. This is the district that they wanted to make a minority district, and they messed it up. They messed up the whole map. If you look at a congressional map for this upcoming year, you have 3rd district, 4th district, 2nd district, the 4th district, the 5th district, and this 6th snake kind of district going through from Shreveport all the way to New Orleans. And look, I'm gonna point on this, and if you're in the nation, you can go ahead and do some research on it. I don't get the 6th district. They wanted to make this minority district, and they had to go from one end of the state to the other because they had to get all the minorities. And I'm like, what? Come on, man. I don't understand what they were doing. But as Mr. Guillory has already told me, hey, that's the cards we were dealt with. But the whole interview is coming up after this. So I'm going to go ahead and give my news of the day, and then we'll go ahead and team up with Mr. Guillory and get Mr. Guillory's input on the election that he's running in, and what does he plan to do as a congressman. And we're gonna dive into all that. I got some good questions for Mr. Guillory. All right, I want to go ahead and talk about things that has happened this week, but I got an opinion, and I'm going to put 2 stories together because I got this on my way to church Thursday night. We had a service Thursday night, and as a lot of you know, I am a Christian, and I do not celebrate the holiday of Halloween. That's between you and the Lord. If you do, I just. But we had a service, and we went pray and had some good time with fellowship with brothers and sisters in the faith, and just had a good time. Just got our kids in there because like my kids, they're young and they wonder why we don't do this, why we don't do that, and it's good to get them off the streets. And they weren't dressing up or anything. We ate sandwiches and cookies. It's good enough for me. All right, but on my way to way to church, I got an article, and it was from the Times, and I think they changed it because it was how are Republicans voting for Harris over Trump? That's how I thought I read it, but the article reads, here are the Republicans voting for Harris over Trump. Now, this is from the Times. I've hardly never quote from the Times, but I do have them on my my Apple News. They are one of my favorites on there, and I read through them every so often. So is CNN, so is Politico, and other, newspapers that I subscribe to. I don't pay for them. They got the free versions. But the article reads, here are the Republicans voting for Harris over Trump. And my question is, are there Republicans voting for Harris instead of Trump? Now, when they give us the examples, I was like, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California. He was the last Republican governor of California, and he just ran California into the ground. He ran it like a Democrat. The Democrats loved Arnold Schwarzenegger in that position. Former Vice President Dick Cheney and also former Representative Liz Cheney, his daughter. Well, we know why. Liz Cheney's fascinated or infatuated with. I hope I'm saying that right word. Dr. Mike, if I'm not, correct me. But they have this hold on January 6th. And Dick Cheney, of course, is going to go with his daughter, but Dick Cheney was the vice president, and he has some left-leaning ideas. This is one reason why probably President Bush got into office. He was more of a rhino. Adam Kinzinger, we already know about Adam Kinzinger. I can't stand the guy. Former governor, Lieutenant Governor Goof Duncan, Jeff Flake, and they name all these big names that are voting, like 200 former Bush, McCain, and Romney staffers. They make this point that these Republicans are voting over Harris. They're voting Harris instead of Trump. Now, the Times did not mention that these are big name rhinos. These are people that were either never Trumpers or because of January 6th, they have turned, now they backstab Donald Trump. These are establishment Republicans. These are the old style Republicans. You know, the Republicans that said, well, let's not fight. Let's give them what they want so people will think that we are the good guys. This is how these are how these Republicans are. But if you look at the article, and when I first looked at it, you would think, oh, there's Republicans voting for Harris over Trump. Now the question, this is why I read the article, and the question that I'm arising to you, my audience, are Republicans really voting Harris over Trump? All the numbers we're seeing right now of Republicans going to vote, early vote. Now, there's one driver that is bringing this home for all the Republicans. It's Donald Trump and Dan Bongino, Charlie Kirk. I said one, but several. There's tons of Republicans influencers, yours included, said, hey, you should go early vote. We should not just sit down and chill and relax like we did last time and wait for the same day, for the voting day of November 5th. Go vote. It's out there. Use it. And Republicans are going in droves. My good friend Kelby Daigle was here on the last episode, and he said that when he went early vote here in the state of Louisiana, now we are not a swing state. We are bright red for Donald Trump. We are bright red in our legislations and everything. We know the state's going for Trump, but you had people early voting here in the state of Louisiana, and you feel that energy all over the country. And look, I could be wrong. This is my opinion on this. But I think this is why the Times wrote this story. Because they want people to think, yes, all these Republicans are going vote. But not all of them are voting for Donald Trump. And you got to remember that Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney and Arnold Schwarzenegger and all these elite Republicans, they're not voting for Harris. I mean, they're voting for Harris. They're not voting for Trump. This means that other Republicans are not going to vote. And see, they're trying to get into our head. Oh my goodness! If these Republicans are voting for Harris, that means other people are voting for Harris. Oh, that means Donald Trump's. What they're trying to do is give faith to the left. This is how I look at this story. And again, this is from the Times. This was written yesterday. Excuse me. It was written yesterday. So, ladies and gentlemen, why push it out? Why push this story right now? There's some other things. Keep my point. This is how the media manipulates you. I honestly feel they're trying to say, well, look, some Republicans are going to vote for Harris, and that's not good for Donald Trump. Now, the story fails to mention as well the Democrats that are not voting for Harris, that are voting for Trump. You know, like JFK, Tulsi Gabbard, who now is a Republican but used to be a Democrat. Elon Musk, who used to be liberal but now is lining on Jake Paul. We just had Jake Paul, one of the biggest YouTubers out there that endorses Donald Trump. They don't mention these people. They're not mentioning none of these people on this platform. All it is Republicans are voting for Harris. Oh, that's not good. That's not good for Donald Trump. And they're trying to give hope to people on the left. Why do I say that as well? Well, this has been going on for a couple of days. Election polling could be underestimating Kamala Harris, Democrats in key state. CNN data reporter warns. Now, I've been hearing some good news about this. Harry Eden, he has brought reports, and he is doing a good job with the polling. But it's funny how he brought this out. According to Eden, He warned that on Tuesday that election polling could be underestimating Vice President Kamala Harris rather than former President Trump, who has been historically underestimated in election polling in previous cycles. So what is he talking about here? Well, what the article's talking about here? Well, in the past, Donald Trump has been underestimated by the polls. We've seen this since 2016. They underestimated Trump on an average of 9 points. Remember, everybody saying, well, the polls said that Hillary Clinton's going to win, and she's going to win in a landslide. About average of polls, about 9%. Well, 9% percentage points was underestimated by Trump. In 2020, it was less, but it was still underestimated by 4. This time, if history repeats itself, they're probably underestimating Donald Trump again. That is a theory, but not according to Eden. Eden thinks that they're underestimating Kamala. Now, this is Eden. If the polls are going to underestimate Donald Trump once again, that would be historically unprecedented. What normally happens is the pollsters catch on, hey, we're underestimating, we're not taking into account some parts of the electorate. They make adjustments, and I think that helps to explain why we have never seen that the same party has been underestimated 3 times in a row in presidential election, at least in the last 52 years. This is what Eden don't understand, though. Eden don't understand Donald Trump. They hate Donald Trump. They don't want to presume that Donald Trump is winning. So they fix the polls to make Kamala Harris look like she's winning. And it's gotten to a point where even the polls are not showing from left-leaning people, because I think people are going more to Donald Trump than to Harris. Now, John Behrman asked Eden about the 2022 midterm elections when Democrats exceeded expectations and what they might indicate about the polls in the key swing states. This is what Eden replied. What do we see in 2022 in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin? Well, it turns out that the average polls in those states actually underestimated Democrats by 4 points. If the underestimating Democrats by 4 points, and I want to apply that the electoral map, because if it turns out that the polls underestimate the Democrats like they did in 22, well, Kamala Harris wins a sweep, Eden said. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to bust a bubble. I'm realistic here. And look, Donald Trump could lose November 5th. There's a good possibility that Donald Trump will not be the next president of the United States. I know that might not be something you want to hear, but that's something that we need to take into consideration. He could be right. The Times could be right that Republicans are voting for Harris instead of Trump. They could be right. But I think what they're doing is they're not trying to... They're hoping that they're right as well, but they're trying to give a little bit of hope to the Democrat Party. Because you see, if it's 4 points underestimate, well, that's good. That's good. You know, the pollsters are wrong. Now, granted, these are the same people for the last 8 years that are telling us that, hey, y'all should trust the polls. It's funny how all this is coming out a week or less from the election. Now, look, I'm going to tell you, because this is to give hope to the left and to discourage the right. This is how, in my opinion, how the left-wing media does this. They propagandize you to think something to where you don't go and you don't take action on what you're planning on doing. The only way Donald Trump wins is if we get Republicans into the voting booth. Or let me say it like this. Trump supporters or Trump voters into the booth. Look, I'm not going to go ahead and say Eden is wrong, because he could be right. They could be underestimating the poll numbers. But what if Eden is wrong? What if they're still underestimating Donald Trump? Look, again, 4 years ago, they gave Donald Trump an underestimate of 4 points, give or take, average. You know, if 4% go to Donald Trump's way, he sweeps the swing states. And it becomes a blow. So he didn't bring out that point to my knowledge. So this is a very tight race. We're holding it as a very tight race. But I just feel that these people, what they're doing is trying to give some hope to the Democrat Party to go vote. Because I don't think the Democrat Party or the people in the Democrat Party are energized like they say they are. I watched the DNC convention. I didn't watch one night, and it was when Obama spoke. And there was no energy in the room. None. The RNC, you could watch it and you could feel the energy in your house from the TV. You could just feel that energy in the RNC. And look, I'm not being about. I remember the 2008 race when Barack Obama was running, and I was young. I was very young. But I remember watching the DNC. I remember seeing the energy in that room. When I watched the RNC, that's reminded me of that. I was like, this is like the 08 election with Barack Obama. The Democrats had an energy in that room. They were excited to vote for Barack Obama. This is why I believe Barack Obama got 2 terms. People really enjoyed Barack Obama, and he brought an energy to the room. I have not seen that energy in the DNC for a while. Biden did win in 2020. You can have your beliefs about 2020. I know I have my beliefs. But he won. But you still didn't have that same energy. 2020 was about defeating Big Bad Orange Man. And see, they're trying to go back to that, and it's not working, in my opinion. Because people are seeing what they're doing. Remember, they're running on Biden's record, the Biden-Harris record. But I've seen the energy in this year's RNC, like the 08 Democrat National Convention. And there's excitement on the right. And there's people that are saying, look, if we put Donald Trump back in office, we are going to get our money back. Food's going to go down. Gas prices are going to go down. We're going to have energy. There's an excitement in the Republican Party. I don't see it in the Democrat Party right now. I don't see people that excited to vote for Kamala Harris. And I think this is what these two stories are doing. They're trying to give us a little bit of hope and excitement. Listen, guys, Donald Trump won't win because they're underestimating Kamala Harris. And look, those big name Republicans, they're voting for Harris. That means other Republicans are voting for Harris. Not mentioning the fact all the Democrats that are voting for Trump. Because I watched someone give analysis of the 7 swing states, and the over 65 crowd is going vote this year. In every swing state, it is massive. And that is key for the Republican Party. But just to say this, don't read these stories and think, oh my goodness, that means Kamala's going to be president? No, that's not what it means. It means I think the Democrat Party and the media are running scared, and they're trying to throw everything to the ceiling and hope it sticks. This is why the insults are coming. This is why Kamala Harris which was not reported because of the garbage statement that Biden made, but this is why she went to January. This is why she went on the site of January 6th and tried to give a speech to try to energize her 70,000 followers there. Now, people, 70,000 followers. This was Washington D.C. So don't let the propaganda and the media form your opinion on this. Listen, I'm watching state-to-state polls. I'm seeing, yes, Donald Trump has a slight lead in every single swing state. But at the same time, don't let CNN and don't let the Times and other people fool you into saying, oh, Republicans are voting for Biden, for Harris. They underestimating, so that means she's going to have a sweep of the states? No. There's a possibility that Donald Trump will win this election. There's a possibility he will lose. I'm being real with you right now. But I'm going to tell you this. It's not looking good for Harris. And I think Donald Trump does pull this out. I think Donald Trump pulls it out, and I think Donald Trump becomes the next president. But we're just going to have to hope and see. Let's hope and see. All right, I got some other stories, but we do have Elbert Guillory coming on in a few minutes, so please stay tuned for that. The Democrat Party is getting desperate as well. This is desperation. I just talked about everything with the poll, with the media, how they're trying to shape your opinion. Well, Kamala Harris and Democrats, including Mark Cuban. Now, Mark Cuban, I like Mark Cuban on Shark Tank. He sounds like he's a smart guy. Politically, he's dumb. I'm not trying to insult the man. I'm just saying. But Mark Cuban made waves this week, and the Democrat Party also made waves with a few things. One, with a Julian Roberts advertisement where she is narrating, where they had this ad where a man and a woman went voting. They were married. And the husband's like, okay, baby, it's your time. It's your time to go. And the lady goes and votes for Kamala Harris. And the speech is Julie Roberts on there saying, in the voting booth, you have freedom. You can vote for whoever you want. And she goes back and he goes, I hope you made the right choice, babe. She's like, yeah, I did. And she lied to her husband. So the Democrat Party is encouraging women to lie to their husbands now. Now, this is going on the premise that women in the Republican Party don't have no rights. Their husbands are the ones to tell them what to do, and they better not get out of line. You know, that toxic masculinity thing that the Democrats are always telling us about that us Republican men have. Now, look, I'm going to say this. My wife can vote for whoever she wants. I've made that, I've never made that point on air before. Now, I do encourage my wife to vote a certain way, but my wife, look, I don't know if she'd mind me saying this, but when John Bel Edwards was running, she considered voting for John Bel Edwards. Now, I hope I did a good job by telling her, hey, this is what's going on, and I gave her the facts, and she made the decision to vote for someone else. Now, I don't know who to my knowledge, I don't know who she voted for in the last presidential election, the governor's election here. I voted for a candidate, and she voted for a different candidate. I can't remember which one she voted for. But my wife usually aligns with me. Now, she would ask some questions, and she's not a Kamala Harris fan. But we don't, in the Republican Party, now there might be some. I'm not going to say all the Republican men are angels like myself. I'm just, I'm seeing, I don't know, I just see Scott Ford drinking some water and spitting it out. No, but they're making the assumption that Republican men are brutes. They're barbarians. And they tell their wife to vote the way they're supposed to vote and then go home and fix some supper and rub their feet. Not majority of Republican men do that. But the Democrat Party is encouraging couples to lie to one another. And this is a whole thing, too. Look, and I'm a minister. I will counsel people every so often. If a man and a woman comes up to me and says, look, we have problems in our marriage, and I ask the question, well, how'd y'all trust one another? I can't tell him nothing. That's an issue right there. You shouldn't have, look, I'm getting into a counsel session with you guys. You should not get into a marriage where you can't trust one another and you can't discuss politics with one another. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I know it's a tense subject in some homes, but you didn't marry each other for politics. You married each other for love. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a lot easier if you have someone that aligns with your politics. But at the same time, the Democrat Party is encouraging women to lie to their spouses. And they're trying to target women. Why? Because according to Mark Cuban, and this is where I talked about, Mark Cuban thinks that if you support Trump, you're not a strong woman. He made a comment where, and I want to read his quote so all you fact checkers out there will not go ahead and say that I'm lying. But Mark Cuban appeared on The View of all places and made this comment. Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women ever. It's just that simple. They're intimidated to him. He doesn't like to be challenged by them. Now, this start a wave because, like I said, I take it as Mark Cuban. Now, I'm not a woman because, I believe there's two genders, and I'm not changing because I'm a man. I believe I'm a man, and God made me that way. But Mark Cuban, in my opinion, is telling women, hey, if you're not left-leaning like the five nuts that are on The View, you're not smart. Now, I know this was trying to insult Trump, saying that they were trying to say that Trump again, going back to my last point with the women and the voting, that men are controlling and they don't like women to stand up to them. I'm gonna be honest with you. Look, and the Bible's clear: the man is the head of the household. But I'm glad sometimes my wife said, "No, we can't do this," or "No, we can't do that." There's some very, very smart women out there, and God has given them that ability. And they're trying to make Trump like this big bad man that does not like women and don't want women on the side of him. But there's a big issue with this because Donald Trump has several women around him. A lot of conservative women have stand up, including his former campaign manager, Kayleigh Conway, rebuked Mark Cuban's comment for suggesting Trump avoid strong women. She says is desperate. And several others. But Mark Cuban making this space that, oh, Donald Trump's intimidated, and that's why he don't want. No, Donald Trump is not. They're trying to make Donald Trump like he's anti-woman, and he's not. But again, this is a desperate move by the left to get the women to vote for Donald Trump. I mean, to vote for Kamala Harris. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it's going to work. Look, there is some women that are just dense, like the 5 bimbos on The View. And I'm not trying to insult women. I'm just saying Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar are a couple of fries short of a Happy Meal. I'm just being honest. All them women, and he like, I even think he pointed to them in the video, or like y'all, they're not that intelligent. But to suggest, I'm tongue-tied right there. I apologize. To point that these women, if you vote for Trump or you hang around Trump, you're is wrong. And look, this is what does Cuban think really like this? That if you support Donald Trump, you're not intelligent? That's an insult. And look, this is one of them. And look, it's not Kamala making these statements. These are her surrogates that are trying to get votes for her, and they're messing up, like Biden. Trying to say, oh, these MAGA people don't like Puerto Rico people. You know, the only people that are garbage is them. Like, that really went over. I could see Biden's handle like, oh, God dang, got some Cajuns up in his cabinet. If you're a woman, like I said, look, if you're a woman in the chat, please tell me how you feel. Because I really want to know. Comment on this video. Tell me how you feel. Because I don't know. I'm being honest. That's how Mark Cuban sound to me. Oh, well, if Trump don't let women around him unless they're dumb and ignorant. And that's not the case. One of his former press secretaries, is a governor right now. And she has a very good relationship with Donald Trump. And look, I can't think of her name, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She's a great governor. She's taking Arkansas out of the slumps. But according to people on the left, they're not that intelligent. That should just tell you how people on the left, men on the left, think of women. And I'm just going to say a point. All these Democrats that are saying, oh, well, the Democrat Party is the party of women and the party. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I think the Republican Party was the party that helped get women's rights to vote. I'm just saying. All right, let's move on. Okay, so the whole Trump supporters are garbage has made its rounds. And at the last time I made my episode for Wednesday, Kamala Harris didn't say nothing, but she has come out and said that she strongly disagrees with the criticism of people on who they vote for. This is a response to Biden's garbage statement about Trump supporters, where he called Trump supporters garbage. The White House and Karine Jean-Pierre. And even some of the left media, swing media, has said, no, he didn't say that. He was just talking about one person, or he stuttered, or that's just not true. He didn't say that, which we have the video. It's been played multiple times and has been quoted by yours truly several times. He said it. You go listen, you clean your ears out, make sure. But he said it. But Kamala Harris said he clarified his statement before she made this comment. And she said, look, he clarified what he was saying, but I disagree with criticizing people on who they vote for. Now, she didn't condemn his statement. She just said, I disagree with criticism of people like that. She didn't disagree with Biden, though. She also said he clarified. He didn't clarify nothing. He has dug himself in a more hole because he's trying to cover up a boo-boo that he did on this trail, because this hurts Kamala Harris. Now, there's some out there, and this is where conspiracy theories start. They think Biden is doing this on purpose. Every time she has a big event, he has a speech he has to give. You notice that? At the time of this video conference that he did, Kamala was sitting on the Redmenda, I think it is. It's the place where Donald Trump stood to give a speech on January 6th. She was giving this big speech in front of this big audience in Washington, D.C., and it was, guess what? Nobody's talking about it. I didn't even talk about it. I didn't even know it was happening. But I didn't talk about it. You know why? Because Biden went on a video and said, the only thing I see floating around that's garbage is the Trump supporters. So it's covering up. Now, Donald Trump has capitalized on this. We read his Truth Social post. And he went to Wisconsin the next day, and guess what was waiting for him on the tarmac? A garbage truck. And he got into it with an orange vest. Then he went to a rally with that orange vest and that garbage truck. And I think he went back in it somewhere else today. And the truck had Trump 2020. And he told the media, he said, this is compliments of Biden and Harris telling us we're garbage. And he went out with this vest in Green Bay, and he made this story about why he was wearing it. They said it made him look thinner. He didn't want to wear it. And look, I've worn one of these vests. These orange vests with the silver in it. I wore some of these. I wear some of these vests where I work at. Sometimes we go on jobs where, and look, our work shirts, and you've seen them on here before if you watched the show multiple times. It's that blue shirt with the green and the silver in it. We go on jobs, we have to have that. But sometimes they tell us, you have to have a vest. And look, some of these vests, if they aren't mesh, they're hot. You sweat. And Donald Trump said, it's hot. I want to take this off. Let's get my jacket. And they were like, sir, it looks good on you. It makes you look thin. I guess I'll go in. And people laughed at it. Now, the media has criticized this moment of him getting a garbage truck and him wearing this vest. Why don't the media like this? Well, because it makes Donald Trump look to our level. It makes Donald Trump look like he wants to be one of us. Now, this is a multimillionaire. Donald Trump, to my knowledge, has not worked a really hard day in his life. But then doing what he does, build buildings and stuff like that, it's probably hard. I don't know. But Donald Trump wearing this vest and getting into that garbage truck made people look, he's like us. Now, I heard it today that Donald Trump pulling this off, it worked. Any other politician try to do this, they're acting. They're fake. Why is it working for Donald Trump? Because I think Donald Trump has already proved that he is on our level. He was a normal, everyday businessman. Yes, multi-billionaire, but he went ahead and took a job that he really didn't need. And has taken so much criticism and taken all the pushback from the left. Remember, the left loved him. We talked about The View a while ago. The View, 9 short years ago. Donald Trump, you're my favorite person. Hey! Now, he's gonna take away all your children. He's gonna take away your families. He's gonna deport them. Donald Trump's the worst thing since wheat bread. They criticize him. Donald Trump didn't need to take the job of the White House, but he did. Now this has, like I said, this has gone viral. And Donald Trump is in his vest, makes him look relevant to us. Because like I said, look, I never thought I would see a presidential candidate or a president wear a vest. Unless they're like at a site or something. But even that, they don't even wear them. This is why the media don't like this. Because the media knows that it makes Donald Trump look good. And God forbid that it make Donald Trump look good. But him appearing in a garbage truck is spot on. And I heard this from a good friend of mine tonight. He said whoever's working in the marketing department for Trump is doing a hell of a job and they need to get a raise. Because especially these last moments. Now, look, I don't know if this garbage comment by Biden is going to hurt Kamala. Frank Luntz think it will. But for Donald Trump to get this much publicity at the end of the campaign to the very end, it is good. Now, I want to say something too. Observed by looking at this with Donald Trump in the garbage truck, he looks like he's having fun, and he's genuine. He looks like he's having fun on this campaign. This is a different campaign than 2020 altogether. I think Donald Trump is having fun because he knows he's in a good spot. Kamala Harris is worried. I seen her at a speech the other day, and it sounded like she's on a robot. Let me tell you, we gotta... And she's reading from this teleprompter. I don't know if the teleprompter was slow, but she sounded like a robot. She sounds rehearsed. Look, I wasn't planning on doing this, but it's just funny how we have coast into this area, and I'm gonna go with it. You hear Donald Trump speak, he's genuine. He looks like he wants to be there. He looks like he wants to fight for the American people. He gets on our ground level, and he's genuine. You know what Donald Trump say he's gonna do because he has done it already. Kamala Harris is fake. Oh, Isaac, can you prove that? Yeah, look at all the accents she gives when she's in one particular place. The sorrow comes in the sorrow comes at night, but joy comes in the morning. I like you too. Remember all the accents she's had? She had like 7 of them in this campaign so far. Why she did it? Because she's trying to relate to people, but she's not relatable. She's fake. I know some of you on the left that are listening to this, you're going to be like, how dare, Grinberg, how dare you? But this is what I'm observing. She's fake. I saw that video. Fox News did a montage of it, and I watched it. I wasn't even trying to look for it. It's just this montage came up, and she was like, they were showing all these accents, and I'm like, look, I'm glad Louisiana ain't a swing state, because she would come to Louisiana. Let me tell you, Tibet, boy, man, we ate some gratons last night, and they were good, Tibet. I can. We don't all talk like that. I do have an accent. I'm not gonna deny it. I have an accent. But could you imagine her coming to Louisiana and trying to do that? Man, Tibet, I ate some crackling and some boudin and some gumbo, Tibet. Oh, that was good. Shoot them. You get what I'm saying? She probably would try to make up a Cajun accent. Why? Because she's trying to relate to people with these accents, and it's not working. And if people don't, I think people are seeing it. That's why she's having issues. And she's trying to say, joy, oh, let's turn the page. And when people ask, turn the page from what? You've been the president, the vice president for the last 4 years. Oh, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about big bag of orange man, Nazi, fascist Trump. And that's their whole message. We were talking about this at church last night. Her whole message is Trump bad, me good, vote for me. Tell me about your policy. Does not compute. That's Kamala Harris. She does not have an answer to policies because she don't know nothing about it. And I think this is why people are flocking to Donald Trump. So last Sunday night, there was a football game, the 49ers against the Cowboys, and I'm not going to lie to you, I was happy. 49ers won. I had Brock Purdy as for my starting quarterback, and he won me my fantasy football league. They're saying I am 8-0 against the youth league right now. Oh, Isaac, I thought these were youth. They got to beat the old master, I'm just saying. But anyway, Nick Bosa is facing discipline from the NFL because he was out of uniform. Do you know why he was out of uniform? He was wearing a MAGA hat. That's right. Nick Bosa for the San Francisco 49ers, number 97. The NFL is disciplining him because he wore a MAGA hat. Now, they were having an interview for the player of the game on NBC, and Nick Bosa shows up and flashes the hat. And the NFL rule states in Rule 5, Section 4, Article 8, what players are allowed to wear, and more importantly, what they are not allowed to when they get to the stadium on game day. Throughout the period of the game day, that a player is visible to the stadium and television, all including the pregame warmups in the bench area and during pregame interviews in the locker room or on the field. Players are prohibited from wearing, displaying, or otherwise caveating personal messages either in writing or illustrating unless such message has been approved in advance by the league office, the handbook states. Now, the rule breaks down that such things as anniversaries or memorabilia events are to honor a certain individual with helmet decals, jersey, patches, and armbands are allowed as long as the league official is notified. However, when it comes to a political message, the rule is very clear. So Bosa wore the league did not give him permission to wear a MAGA hat. Now, if it was a Bernie Sanders hat or a Harris Waltz hat, they probably would have let him do it. But no, he went ahead and showed this. Now he is facing a money fine. The league has dished out a $10,000 fine to previous players that have done this. He just briefly showed it, but guess what? He showed now. Brian Urlacher commented under Bosa's Instagram where the star lineman had a collection of photos that include the moment he showed his Trump supporter with his MAGA hat, and Urlacher wrote the two American flags, and they had an incident. But Nick Bosa is getting fined or disciplined because he wore a MAGA hat. Now, ladies and gentlemen, understand the rules. If you're in the NFL, you're supposed to wear team gear and all this. Understand all that. But it's funny how this moment caught wind. Now, we already know that the left-leaning NFL, which I like watching the NFL, it's fun. But the left-leaning NFL don't want nothing to do with Donald Trump. To my knowledge, they didn't show on TV when Donald Trump went to the Pittsburgh game. They could have. I don't know. But Donald Trump, really? Oh, no. Now, Bosa know the rule, and he did it anyway. Now, he got the money. He can pay the fine. But why they're singling him out? Now, this happened on Saturday as well. I think it was Arizona's kicker. I think. I could be wrong. One of the college football players showed a Trump shirt under his uniform. Now, I don't think he got disciplined for it, to my knowledge. I could be wrong. Comment if you know. But this just shows how far I think the left is, though. Look, if that was Kamala Harris and Waltz, I don't think the NFL would have said nothing. The NFL wouldn't have fined him. It wouldn't have been a big deal. Probably the commentator on the field would have been like, "Hey, Walkie!" Okay, it was Trump. She's like, "Oh, Trump." Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Bosa and the NFL should be happy he did this, because the 49ers star jersey soared after he flashed a MAGA hat on TV. Now, a lot of people, we're boycotting the NFL. We're never watching the NFL. Well, why all these MAGA people bought shirts? ladies and gentlemen, I don't think the NFL should discipline him for wearing a hat one time. Now, look, they might be setting him as an example. I don't know. But it's kind of funny, too. Okay, it's kind of funny because I think it was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson went to a podium, and he had a shirt that said, "No Jesus, no peace." And it said, no Jesus, no peace. And, he said that Jesus is the only way. How dare you? I need to get that voice where I hit the button. But the NFL told him, "Oh, you can't do that." Why is the NFL is all against Jesus and MAGA, but they can push Black Lives Matter. They can wear shirts during pregame warmups where it promotes Black Lives Matters and Democrat candidates and left-leaning agendas. But when it comes down to a MAGA hat and Jesus Christ, they have an issue and they want to stick to the rules. If you're going to stick to the rules for that, you need to stick to the rules for everything. Everything. All right. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this of all my news. So what we're going to do now is we're going to invite Mr. Elbert Guillory on. All right, everybody. As we said earlier, we got Senator Elbert Guillory. He is running for the 6th congressional district here in the state of Louisiana. And Elbert Guillory is a real good friend to the show, was here when he was running for lieutenant governor. Mr. Guillory, Senator Guillory, welcome to the show.
It's great to be back with you and to be back with your audience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Last time we saw each other was in Kinder for the MAGA event. And, man, you gave a hell of a speech. I'm just going to say it like that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, straight from the heart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how the campaign's going?
It's going very well. We may just pull off a surprise.
A surprise. So
we started running for this position in July. Some of the other people have been running since January, and they'd, gotten a lot of money raised and all that sort of thing. But when Congressman Graves pulled out in late June or early July, we just had to make the run when we saw what was there. The people who were running were just guys who wanted to tax your dollars and spend them in foreign lands, not concerned about education, not concerned about crime. So somebody had to step up, and so I did.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're glad you did because, you're the only Republican running in the 6th district. Now, Senator Guillory, this district has a lot of controversy around it because this was the redrawn district that we fought so many years to not get. A lot of people believe this was a gerrymandering district, but unfortunately, it was drawn the way it was drawn. I went and looked at it the other day for the first time because I was driving in Lafayette, and that used to be Clay Higgins' area. And I saw your sign. I was like, oh, he's running for the 3rd. I thought you was running for the 3rd district. And when I looked at the 6th district, it goes from Shreveport until New Orleans area. This district is long and is weird, in my humble opinion.
It is very weird. It's 300 miles long, and I've already driven more than 6,500 miles in my truck and about 2,500 miles in my car.
Wow. And that's I know what they were trying to do. They're trying to make another minority district, but me personally, I think our legislators could have done a lot better, in my humble opinion.
Well, there's a lot of backroom politics to this particular district. It was drawn for one of my opponents. It was drawn by one of my opponents. So I wasn't a party to the politics of it, but here it is. And the people who drew it for someone did not expect Elbert Guillory to jump in and to make a fight of this. And we've made a fight for it, and a lot of people are supporting us. We have a possibility of victory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And look, your opponent, Cleo Fields, used to be a former rep. I don't know if you ever served with him in Senate or in the House of Representatives, but Cleo Fields today, hearing an ad, is pushing for for boys to go in girls' bathrooms. He's online with Vice President Kamala Harris, who it took forever to condemn what President Biden said on Tuesday night with, "Hey, whoever supports Donald Trump, they're garbage." He's a long line of that. And look, we have a real good Republican state, Mr. Guillory. Every time we talk and every time we get to visit, we talk about this. Our state is strong for a Republican outcome, and you being the only Republican in this race, your favorability is getting up there. But how do we go ahead and look? The House Speaker is in the 4th district, and
Yes.
and we're gonna go ahead and send another Democrat up there. It just blows my mind that would work in Cleo Field's favor. He does not line up with Louisiana values.
And it's so the Republican majority in the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. is so razor thin that we really, really need this seat. It's much bigger than just the 6th district, although representing the people of the 6th district is my first order of business.
So with that being said, are you getting any help from your fellow Republicans? We have Clay Higgins in the 3rd district. We have, as we said, Mike Johnson is running again. He's up for re-election as well. Well, the whole Congress is up. Well, the whole House of Representatives is up for re-election. How are you getting support from the LA GOP and other Republican organizations here in the state?
Absolutely. Both Congressman Higgins and Congressman Johnson have endorsed me, and the LA GOP has just been incredible in working with me to advance this cause. They understand, and the Republican organizations across the district, the LFRW, the Louisiana Federation of Republican Women, they have been very, very supportive. And all of those women's chapters, the PECs, the parish executive committees, have been very, very supportive. I could not ask for, it warms my heart. I'll just tell you, it warms my heart, the amount of support that's come from the Republicans in Louisiana.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, Mr. Guillory, this election is very important, and Tuesday night, me and our good friend Kelby Daigle and a few others will be here at the studio or in our respective places. We will be doing live election coverage. And, we're all looking at the presidential election, but we have to save this nation. And, when we was talking to your assistant, we made sure we wanted to bring this topic out about saving America. And it starts at the top with Donald Trump, but men like you need to get elected. Clay Higgins got to get back elected. We have to get the Republicans back to House of Representatives. Fox News is they're predicting that the Senate is going to go Republican. That's awesome, but there's still a toss-up in the House. Yes, you're one that's running for Congress right now. With the final home stretch, what is your message to people when you go knock on their doors or meet them? And if you're lucky to get elected, what are your plans to save America? Because we're in a crapshoot right now, and it is bad. It is bad. Where you have the current president of the United States telling half of the American people that they're garbage. We're in a bad state.
I have to do some things to bring in common sense back into American politics. Number one, we have to stop spending our money all over the world and take care of our business here, our roads and bridges here, our elderly here, our veterans here. Number two, education. 13% of young Louisiana folks, only 13% can read and write at grade level. That's horrible. That's unacceptable. So we have to revamp the education system, the public education system. And while we're revamping it, we've got to give parents a choice of sending their children to a public school or private school and give them the money that Louisiana spends on each child. Give it to the parents, let them make a choice. But those are two of the things that I've got to do. We've got to do something about the border. In Alexandria, an illegal immigrant came in with a special, difficult brand of or strain of tuberculosis. They're bringing in diseases that are affecting us. She infected 40 Americans when she got here because she was dumped into Louisiana. I'm going to certainly work with the governor. I think that we should draw the line. We're not accepting anymore. Don't put any here. We can tell the governor, the people in Washington, D.C., no, not in Louisiana. Don't bring any here. And we got to stop it. We got to close that border. Now, those are some of the things I'll be working on to protect our country. I'll tell you one other thing that I'll be working on is to bring God back into schools. Our schools right now are hotbeds of violence and disrespect. We're going to bring respect and consequences for bad behavior back into the school system.
Yeah, and look, I'm glad you said that because you know I'm a Pentecostal minister, you're a Baptist minister, but hey, we're all brothers in Christ. You know, and that's one of my top priorities as a constituent is what are you going to do about the rule of law and God in our nation? Because Mr. Guillory, you know, going back in the history, prayer and Bible was taken out in 1962 and 1963, and the statistics show that crime went up. Things that were immoral and unjust are going up, and it looks like our morality has been going down ever since because we forgot God in this nation. And to hear a politician say, look, we want to put God back in our country, and look, it's sad that we come to a point where the ACLU and other organizations are suing states, including the state of Louisiana, for just trying to put up the 10 Commandments, where our founding fathers told us, hey, y'all need to put that into the school. We need to show kids about the 10 Commandments in the right way of God. So for a politician like yourself to say, look, we need to bring God back into it, that's very encouraging to me.
We have to. God has been the light shining upon the path of this nation. All of these years, these decades, we've got to bring back that light, and we've got to get our nation back on God's path. We can be a godly people, and we don't have to hurt someone else's religion. We don't have to stop anybody from practicing. Someone wants to be a Muslim and practice their religion, that's fine. But America is a Christian nation, and we cannot permit those dodos to evict our God from. Baby Jesus has been evicted from the nativity scenes in our cities. That's insanity. We let them do that to us, and we should stop it.
Well, and that's giving up our freedoms. You get what I'm saying? Because, you know, they'll quote freedom of religion, and I think the ACLU and the nuts at I can't think of that organization, the atheistic group from United States or whatever it's called. They want freedom from religion, and no, we can't have freedom from religion. We have to have a basis of where our faith lies. And you know, why is it wrong to steal? Why is it wrong to kill? Why is it wrong to bear false witness? It comes from a sovereign God, and we are endowed by our Creator these certain unalienable rights. The Constitution says this comes from our Father, which is in heaven, and he gives these rights. This is why the Second Amendment is so important, because we have the right to bear arms, because the founding fathers believed that we had that right endowed to us by our Creator.
That is absolutely true. We're going to bring God back, and we're going to bring our money back. There are going to be some major changes so that we can get America back on track.
Now, do you see the House going into y'all favor as a Republican Party? I know you're a candidate, and you look at a lot of numbers that we don't get to see here in the media. But do you think the House stays Republican?
I think the House will stay Republican. I think that there will be some more strong voices. I'm not talking about rhinos now. I'm talking about rock solid conservative voices going to Washington and helping to shift this nation back to its proper course.
Awesome, awesome. Now, so we switch from the House. I want to go ahead and ask you your opinion on the presidential race. We're only a few days away from hopefully hearing that the president-elect is Donald Trump, and hopefully not the president-elect Harris. You get what I'm saying? How do you see the presidential race? Do you got any inside information that you're hearing on the ground? Because I know you're in contact with Congressman Johnson. I know you said Clay Higgins has endorsed you. I know they're all good friends of yours. What are you hearing on the presidential front?
We think that it's going to be Trump, probably by 2%.
So the race is that close.
The race is that close.
Now, so I got a question. Real Clear Politics average has that Donald Trump is winning a lot of the states right now, including Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan. Do you see the Electoral College possibly going 300 and over for Donald Trump?
I think that's a good possibility. And I hope that it does. I would like to see a clear victory in this case, so that if a clear victory for the president, a clear victory for the Senate, and a clear victory for the House, if we can do that, we will have everything that we need to change the course of America and put us back on track. We'll get the boys out of the girls' bathrooms, and we'll get the boys out of women's sports. In the 1960s and 70s, I fought to have women's sports in colleges and high schools. And now these Democrats want to just let it be destroyed. Have these big fellas beating up on ladies, and there's so many examples of that's already happened.
Well, I like what we're hearing right now of ladies in women's sports that are saying, look, we're not going to go ahead and participate in this match or in this game until they remove them. And we already seen several colleges say, well, we're not going to remove them. And there's been forfeits. And look, a lot of people saying, well, the girls couldn't play. Well, the girls don't want to get hurt.
Exactly.
And look, I admire them women for standing up. I admire them women for standing up and saying, look, we're not gonna bullets. As you said, Senator Guillory, you went ahead and fought for women's rights and sports. And we've gone so far to where only a man can say he feels like a woman and can play in a sport that he shouldn't be in.
I hate to say it. I have daughters. If one of my daughters is playing sports and some fellow gets into that league and injures my child, I can assure you that it will not go
well.
It will not go well. There'll be some serious price to pay by the fellow who injured my child.
So
I think time for American men to stand up and protect their families again.
I think it's just time for America to wake up in general, because and I want to ask you that question. I already kind of know how you fall in line with that. Abortion is one of the biggest topics here right now in America, and we talk about women's sports and all that, but for people to think that a man can become a woman and a woman become a man, or that people can go ahead and abort a baby until up to the 9th month is just ridiculous to me. And this is why I say we need to have an awakening. And you're going to be faced with a lot of this stuff going forward. What do you think about I know the President Trump is endorsing a 15-week abortion ban. I would like a total abortion ban, in my humble opinion. So, what do you do in Congress with that threshold? Do y'all try to push a 15-week abortion ban, or do y'all go ahead and look, let's try to get an abortion ban there? Or I know Donald Trump has promised he wouldn't sign anything if it was a total national abortion ban.
I have to go with a national abortion ban, and I'll tell you why. Good friend of mine who's a Klansman was laughing, and he said that the people at Planned Parenthood, that organization which is funded heavily by Democrat politicians, Planned Parenthood doctors should not wear white coats. They should wear white sheets, because the doctors at Planned Parenthood have killed more Black lives in 1 year, in any 1 year. 70% of 1 million babies aborted are Black babies because of the relationship between Planned Parenthood and the Democrat Party, and putting those abortion mills in Black and brown communities across this country. So if those statistics, and they are absolutely true because we've triple checked them, you cannot support that kind of genocide that's taking place. If the Klan is standing up and saying that something should be done to protect those little Black babies, then the rest of us certainly should also.
So with that being said, like I said, President Trump, this is one thing I disagree with President Trump on, is that he said, look, I'm not going to sign a national abortion ban. And he has every right to do that. That's, his choice as president of the United States. Do y'all go ahead and try to implement a 15-week abortion ban nationwide, or do you try to work out a compromise with the president? Because the only other way to get around that would be veto power. And if the House is in slim majorities like we're thinking, it won't pass anyway. So do we get in Congress, if you're lucky to be elected, do you go ahead and say, look, we're going to just take what we can get right now and push it forward to the next president, or what do we do with that?
I cannot compromise right and wrong. Either right is right or wrong is wrong. I mean, it's clear. I can't compromise that. I can't face my Lord having said, well, okay, we'll kill some, but we won't kill all. I can't.
I agree with you.
There's
on that.
No compromise on that. I will use my voice. I'll use whatever reason I have. I'll do whatever I can to bring this about. Ultimately, the problem should rest with doctors, but doctors have become so politicized that it's hard to trust them to make those kinds of decisions. We just go back to being an open abortion, a national abortion bill. But we'll find some solution. There are some situations where abortion is the right thing to do, but those situations are very, very, very rare. If a fetus is born, has no head, for example, or if the mother's life is in serious danger, there's some circumstances that are appropriate, but those are rare.
Very rare.
Few and far between.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this is a question that I don't want to think about, but we have to think about it. November 5th, we go into November 6th, and Kamala Harris is the president-elect. And I see, but we have to face that, because if you win, you'll be part of Congress going into, her term as president. And look, I'm praying, I'm asking the Lord, good Lord, don't let that happen. But if that would happen, do you think the Republicans would be able to stand up against her rhetoric and her propaganda and everything that she's bringing forward to this administration?
We have to. There is no compromise for things that are wrong. We cannot compromise those. I certainly can't. I will fight everything that she does that's wrong. And from looking at her list of things that she intends to do, much of that is wrong. So that's where I would have to stand.
I hear you. We just got to stand firm. And look, I will say this. I know you're going to agree with me. Whatever happens November 6th, Jesus Christ is King. He's Lord, and the sun's going to rise up the next day. So,
absolutely.
So,
I'll be asking him for guidance and direction.
So by any chance, did Cleo Fields ever debate you in this process of running for congressman?
We have never debated. There have been a few opportunities, but neither of us has been available for those. People call and ask for us to participate in a debate, but every day, my days are between 15 hours long and 19 hours long, every single day, Sundays included. So the schedule is so full that we haven't had an opportunity to debate.
Do you see this race? Because in Louisiana we have runoffs. Do you see it going to a runoff, or you think we're going to call your name on election night?
I have my fingers crossed. I hope that we can win this outright the first time around. But if we have to go to a runoff, we'll be ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll take one day off and then roll up our sleeves and get right back to it.
Get back to it. So before we wrap it up, I want everybody to, you give a message to my audience and whoever might be in the 6th district. But this is the most important question I'm going to ask you of the night, though. Okay. Are you going to be watching us, or are you going to be watching Fox News on election night?
Now, I'm a big fan of yours, and so is my son. So he'll have his computer tuned into you. Hey, that's where I'll be watching.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear right there. But no, the show's been doing good. We've gone across YouTube, Rumble, and Facebook. So I've been seeing you liking my videos on Facebook. So
yes.
So, Mr. Guillory, go ahead.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, I appreciate that. So, go ahead and talk to the voters right now. If you know somebody in the 6th district that is they're undecided, or they just don't know about this race, what you want to tell these undecided voters?
I would like for you to remember 3 things about me. 1, I love my God. Number 2, I truly love my nation, my America. And 3, I'm a country boy with country boy common sense. And it's time for us to send common sense back to Washington, D.C. and back into our national politics. Common sense and godliness. And that's where I stand, and that's where I'll be standing. I would appreciate your prayers. I'd appreciate any other support that you have. If you have a little loose change in your change purse, we are accepting donations. Elbert Guillory for Congress is the website. Please check us out. And incidentally, anything that you hear me say now, you can go back years and years and years and years. I've been saying the exact same things. The positions that I stand on today are the positions of right and wrong that I've been standing on for years.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Guillory, thank you for the interview. And if you are in the 6th district in Louisiana, go ahead and vote. I think your number is 22, correct?
Yes, indeed. Don't West what? 22.
Go vote number 22, Elbert Guillory in the 6th district. Mr. Guillory, thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure, sir.
All right, everybody. That was Senator Elbert Guillory. He is running for the 6th district of Louisiana's congressional district. If you live in the 6th district, please consider voting for Elbert Guillory, especially if you are a MAGA supporter. He will help Donald Trump, as we heard. He got some great plans for us. We just got to hope that he can get elected. And Cleo Fields, he's running a tough race. We will see on election day. With that being said, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Isaac Hayes Show. We have one more show until election night. That'll be Monday. We also have another guest coming on. I'll make sure we confirm before I announce it. But I'm 99.9% sure we're going to have a guest for the next one. And we're going to be this guest, we're probably going to be talking about Christians voting and the Christians that are not voting. We're going to talk about that and all more. And also Tuesday night special Isaac Hayes coverage of the election of 2024. I need you there. We'll be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our end time, we're shooting for 11, but it could go longer. Who knows? We're lining up some guests, ladies and gentlemen, for sure. Mike Calderese will be here. Joe Boudreaux from the Kelby and Joe Show. Kelby Dago from the Kelby and Joe Show as well will be here. We're also talking with William Wallace, hoping he will be here. We know for sure Roger from Corporate Canteen Cup, he'll be here from the great state of Arizona. So we got some good guests lined up. And we're going to have some fun, real good fun. With that being said, that's going to wrap it up again. Please remember to hit the follow button, the green follow button, hit the red subscribe button, and hit the blue like button. It helps out more than you know. If you're listening on the podcast side, please follow, subscribe, depending on the platform you're listening on, and tell a friend. Most of the people that listen to me are not subscribed, so I need you to subscribe. It helps me out more than you know. Until Monday, you have a good weekend. You be blessed. And you live free in the home of the brave. You have a good one.